healthywildandfree.com and Healthy Wild and Free here on Facebook and Healthy Wild and Free on YouTube and just Healthy Wild and Free in general. Everywhere. Basically anywhere on the internet you see Healthy Wild and Free. I wrote that and it became a thing. So today we are talking about emotions and health and breath work and all these different things. But before we get into the topic, the content of today's topic, I want to introduce Nicole to those of you watching, because Nicole is an amazing soul that I happen to meet. Oh, yes. Let's take time to acknowledge the amazing soul in this room. You're welcome. I met you, I think it was it last year, right?
I think so.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So 2016, I met Nicole through mutual friends, and it was just like an interesting, I think I met you like the day before that dinner, right? Yeah. So some friends, a group of friends, we all had a dinner, right? So I think I met you the day before or something like that.
Or earlier that afternoon.
Yeah.
The farmer's market.
I basically knew you for like less than 48 hours.
Yes.
24, 48 hours, a very short period of time. And so we had dinner that night, and it was an amazing meal. It was an amazing dinner. So we had dinner, it was in Costa Rica. We're in Costa Rica right now. And it was just an incredible night. I don't know if you remember that night. It was just an amazing meal.
Yeah.
There was wild horses on the street. My brother was trying to take selfies with them, and like they were like, he had to like run away because one was like jumping and kicking. It was just crazy. It was awesome. It was hilarious. And it was a night full of laughs and joy and just amazing positive energy. It was a beautiful night.
Yeah.
And so we all had dinner, and we went back to our friend's place, the mutual friends that introduced us. And Nicole, can you share a little bit like who you are, what you do at Rhythmia specifically, so we can get people to get a context for who you are and what you do?
Yes. I'm Nicole, and originally from...
Nicole Rager, just to be clear.
Not Rager.
Yeah. But she
so
does rock out.
I don't correct people when they call me Nicole Rager because it's cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of swag to that.
It's true. Thank you.
Yeah.
So originally I'm from Nebraska, and then spent the last 10 years or so in Charleston, South Carolina, and have been here in Costa Rica for 2 years now, the last year of which I've been working at a place called Rhythmia. The full name is Rhythmia Life Advancement Center. It's an amazing place, tons of different modalities all come together to bring you this like life transformation in a week. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So what I do there is I help lead group breath classes, breathwork class. I teach people how to breathe, basically.
Breathe.
Yeah. And truly, like these people, so many of us don't know the power of our own breath and what holding it can do and what ignoring it can do and what paying attention to it can actually do and what changing it can do and what can utilizing it can do. So there's huge power in your breath and learning what to do with it. So what I do there is teach transformational breathing is a particular style of breathwork I teach, and it helps to clear negativity from the subconscious, release old stored emotions that maybe have been there for years in your body and your cellular tissue and your cellular memory, so that people can live more from their heart and from their soul. Yeah.
Living from the heart.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
I think we need more of that in the world. So that's Nicole. This is Nicole.
Nice
who
to
she
meet
is.
y'all.
Yeah, and I wanted to create this video because of who she is and was in my life. So just to share the story of that night. So this is a really interesting story. So if you're watching live, can you please leave a like, leave a comment, say where you're from in the world, leave a comment, share this video with your friends, family, maybe tag friends or family that you feel like would value this information. So please do that if you're watching or joining. But anyway, so that night when Nicole and I met and we had dinner with friends, something really interesting happened. So I don't even know if I told you this whole story.
Probably not.
So I had just gotten out of a really toxic relationship, like an incredibly toxic relationship, like unlike anything I had ever experienced in my life. And that night, and that trip to Costa Rica, I think that was the trip where I dislocated my shoulder twice.
Yeah.
My laptop and tablet were stolen
Yeah.
on my trip down, and I just got out of a horribly toxic relationship. And I was just like, I need to get away, I need a break. And I came to Costa Rica and I dislocated my shoulder twice and my stuff got stolen. Like, oh, what kind of break is
Wait a
this?
minute.
This is not the break I meant, universe.
Yeah.
Can we rewind and redo this? Can we get like a retry or something?
Yeah.
So it's just a really challenging and interesting trip for me. For some reason, and I think it's because of everything that I was holding, I was holding on to a lot.
Yeah.
And holding on to that, I think, is what kind of manifested these events in my life that were just like, whoa, what is this? What is this? I mean, like, yeah. So we had dinner that night, and then we went back to our mutual friend's house, and their aunt and uncle were visiting, and their aunt, there was something, we were talking, and she was sharing something about, I don't know if you remember specifically, I don't even remember the specifics that well, but I just remember talking to her, and she was talking about life and struggles and difficulty and challenge, and like how like there was almost like a hopelessness in the air. There's almost a hopelessness in the air, and that hopelessness was something that I was like, there was like friction and resistance in me. I was like, no, like this can't be, like, and it was like, it was frustrating, it was upsetting, and I was like, look, like all this crazy stuff is happening in my life, but I need hope, and I don't like align with this, I don't want this. So it just made me like flustered, and it made me like all these things that I was holding on to, it just like bubbled up, like all these negative events from the trip, the getting out of the toxic relationship, like all these different things, and I was like in a state of, like you said, kind of like holding on to everything, and I was probably, my breath was short, probably all these things were affecting my physiology in a way that wasn't for my greatest good, for my health and happiness, and for releasing and letting go.
Yeah.
So what happened that night was, I don't know if you remember, but the conversation got heated as the night progressed, specifically with me and her, and it got to a point where something that was said triggered something in me that caused me to tear up and cry. And not just cry like tears in my eyes, like literally like crying, and I don't know if you remember. Yeah. And yes, Facebook and YouTube, I'm a man and I do cry. I feel my emotions now better than ever before in my life, and as time goes on, I plan on progressing in that emotional evolutionary journey. And I cried in front of a group of people that I did not know. I just met their aunt and uncle that day. Yeah. I met Nicole the day before, and the entire room was like, what is going on? What just happened? Like, whoa! Like, what is, like, it wasn't like really toxic or crazy, it was just like something triggered something in me, and I was like, I have a lot of stuff I'm holding on to, and I could not hold on to it anymore. Like, every ounce of my strength could not hold on to the negativity and toxicity in my body, in my being. And so what happened was, and if you're watching, please leave a like, leave a love, leave a comment where you're from in the world, and share this on Facebook. I think this is really valuable and really important for the world to hear. So what happened was, during that process, what happened was, I cried, I let it out, and immediately, practically immediately, ladies and gentlemen, Nicole, on the other side of the room, she walks over to me, and you were working for me for about a year at this point, maybe?
No, I hadn't.
You hadn't worked?
But I was doing this work on my own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing
this
I
hadn't even, I hadn't even worked for with me yet.
So she was doing breathwork, like training classes and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's doing this work in these kind of classes, and she walked over to me, and I was sitting down, and like I said, I was crying, right? Like I had a lot of stuff that I was holding on to, like, and it's a long list. Trust me, it's crazy. So, and she came behind me, and she just hugged me, and she held me, and she said, if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said, it's okay, let it go, and you said, and you were like, breathe, just breathe, and you just said, just breathe, and she just held me, and hugged me, and said, just breathe. And that simple act literally transformed my life for the better in many ways. And I tell people this story to this day, like one-on-one, and I've told many people this story one-on-one. So now that this is going on the internet, I think it's cool because it needs to be shared. So
I love this because I didn't know that. I mean, like I was there obviously, but I didn't know how big of a deal it was for you, and that means a lot. I'm really glad.
Cool, I appreciate it.
So it's cool.
Yeah. And it meant a lot to me because at that point in my life, I was holding on to so much negativity and toxicity around feminine energy that it literally, it was like healing. Yeah. You were bringing healing to me. You were delivering healing like faster than Amazon Prime's 2-day shipping. Like, immediately. It was right then and there.
Right now.
It was instant. And for her to be so present and mindful in that moment, and for me to do this work that I do, I was like, wow, I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to grow in. And you taught me that, so thank you. And thank you for
Thank
being
you.
there for my healing, and thank you for being there to support me in the process of releasing and letting go of what no longer served me.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. So
I'm gonna tear up.
so it was just a beautifully healing experience, and that process and that journey and that the emotions that I felt and just everything that I needed to let go of, you were a conduit for me to help release that.
Yeah.
So like for me, it was like, it's kind of like when you bubble up with something, right? Like if you bubble up in an emotion,
Yeah.
you're full, and you can't. You have to overflow. It has to come out eventually.
And it's going to come out in some way, you know?
Yeah.
And usually distorted or at the wrong person or at you, you know? You're just miserable, your mind's spinning, you don't feel good in your body or something like that.
Right. Like with anger, for example, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nicole was there, and she was just such a conduit. So today, the reason I'm recording this video is because I want her to share her value in this work. So breath work, like, and earlier we were talking, maybe you can touch on this a bit, like breath work in comparison to like food and water and like why it's, you know, so if you could talk on that for a bit.
Yes.
And then also share just like how it affects all these different things, and maybe we can get into practices after that.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Let's do this.
One of the things that David was just mentioning is, you know, our breathing is one of those things that we don't have to think about. You know, it's so nice because it's just built in and our body will just do it for us. You know, we need it.
Subconscious.
Exactly. But that doesn't, it's like it's built in because we need it so badly, but then why wouldn't we focus on this thing that like is so crucial for our whole being, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can go without food for, you know, days and days, right? People do like 40-day water fasts and things, and you can go without water for maybe a few days. But how long can you go without the breath, without breathing? Like maybe minutes, that's it. Minutes only.
So priority.
Yeah.
It's up here,
there,
folks. It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just to speak in a little bit of the mystical, spiritual terms too, there are spiritual texts out there, and there are a lot of different cultures that spirit and breath are literally translated as the same word. You know, like this is your life. The power of your breath is that it's your whole life force energy. You know, without it, we ceased, like we die.
Yeah.
So that's the power of it. And so what I encourage people to do, and what you maybe experienced a little bit, is just a little bit of that. So physically, obviously, your breath is important. Okay.
For survival.
Yeah, for survival. Yeah, and for optimal survival, to optimal thriving. The more oxygen you bring into your body, the more every cell benefits.
Totally.
You know, there's a study that says that cancer cannot survive in a fully oxygenated environment. So the more you like supercharge your cells with oxygen, the more benefit your whole physical body, the whole system is.
Yeah.
But then what I love about this work too is the mental and emotional component that is involved with your breath. And even if you just think about when you're anxious or trying to hold, I mean, literally, that's such a great example, because you're literally trying to hold in all of these emotions, hold it all together, like all of these things we experience with relationships and with family and with life and goals and disappointments and all of that. That's a lot to manage, you know? Not to mention like all of the stimulus and everything in this world.
News and
Yeah. And so to try to hold it all together, literally we have to hold our breath, you know?
Let's touch on that a bit. Can we touch on that a bit? We have to hold our breath.
Yeah, well, we don't have to, but we do.
But
we do, because as we experience certain things and we have emotions flowing through us, through our energetic body, because we're all energy, right? As we experience certain things, the easiest way for us to control the intensity of that experience, or what if we're actually like fully being present with it at all, is for us to control our breath. And so we do that as a sort of survival mechanism. Like if you've noticed when you're super stressed out, or had any sort of major trauma or anything like that, or just in your daily life right now, how are you breathing? Are you breathing like slow and fluid and open and nice? Are you holding your breath? Are you breathing like real shallowly? You know, it's sort of like the holding the breath and controlling the breath is a way for you to control what you're experiencing. And most of us do it without noticing. starts from the time we're little tiny kids, you know? So say your brother, I don't know, is fighting with your sibling is fighting with you or something, you're a little kid and they grab your toy and they rip the head off your teddy bear and throw it across the room.
That is not cool.
That is not cool.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's not nice.
It's not nice.
Right? And
Be nice to toys.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe you have some sort of emotional reaction to that, which would, like that, you know, not nice, don't do that.
Yeah. Toys.
Yeah.
Great examples.
It's true. So you have an emotional reaction to that as a child. That's your best friend. It's your favorite toy. Your brother ripped the head off. You scream. You cry. You throw a tantrum. And your parents maybe say like, don't cry about that thing. It's just a toy. I'll get you another one.
Right.
Don't be sad about that.
Right.
Here's a cookie.
Right.
Or whatever. Like stop that intense emotion. It's not really valid or warranted or whatever.
Right.
And so, okay, you have this two mixed messages here.
Right.
You have emotion that's natural coming up, like, but I'm sad, that's my toy, I love that, I don't want that to happen. Mm-hmm. And then this other message, your caretaker, your role model, whatever, says, don't feel that thing, don't think that, it's not right, it's not appropriate.
Yeah.
So what happens is we usually control our breath. Mm-hmm. And so the little, like your body contracts to sort of stop the flow of energy. Mm-hmm. Like emotions are just what?
Flow of energy.
Yeah.
Emotion.
Yeah.
Emotion. Energy in motion.
Yeah.
Remember that. It's valuable.
Yeah. So it's just energy in motion moving through. And when we contract our bodies and contract our breath to stop that flow of energy, it does its job. You know, usually we're like, okay, I don't want to feel that thing. That's not safe to feel that thing. I don't want to feel sad, lonely, weak, whatever the message is. We stop that flow. It's effective, but it's not. Because that emotion doesn't just like disappear and dissipate into the ethers, right? Yeah. What happens is it gets stuck, and it gets stuck in our bodies, in our muscles, in our subconscious, and all of that, and it begins to affect the way that we're living our lives. You know, like you had all this emotion that needed to be felt, you know, probably huge disappointment and whatever the things were. That needed to be felt, but it didn't feel safe to feel them. So instead, you're holding everything in really tightly until it's just going to explode. Right. And so you're carrying around this charge, and then
negative charge.
Yeah, negative charge.
It doesn't serve me.
Right. And it affects the way you view yourself, the way you view other people. You start to see that sadness everywhere, you know, or that anger. Yeah. And you start attracting that to you. So if you start to see like patterns in your life where, the same thing keeps happening to me over and over and over again, pretty good indicator that there's some old emotional charge that's trying to get integrated, you know, it's attracting something to help push it through, you know, but we keep, no, I don't feel that, I don't feel angry, you know, that, or quit being present with it. Right. So, okay, so how breath work comes into play with all of that is, as opposed to contracting your body and holding your breath, what do you think happens if you open your breath?
Expand.
Yeah, it allows the energy to all start flowing through again.
More life, more essence, more spirit.
Can I talk about entrainment?
Yeah.
That whole thing? Because I love that.
Yeah.
So
let's dive deeper.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Please tag a friend, like, favorite, comment, share, leave a comment where you're from, and leave your comments, questions, and feedback. Continue.
Okay. So where breathwork comes into play is that when you start breathing in and out in a more fluid, open, connected manner, with more of your respiratory system open and letting things move, that creates a high vibrational frequency. So you have this high vibrational charge of your breath, and then usually these emotions that we feel, don't like, and try to shove down, those are usually the lower vibrational energies. Right. And so there's a beautiful physical principle called the law of entrainment that says when you bring a high vibrational frequency in contact with a low vibrational frequency, the low physically changes form. It goes from vibrating like at a slow frequency like this to vibrating at a higher frequency that is more like the frequency of your life force. Right. Right? So then you literally can clean out your electromagnetic field, any stored emotions from your body, from your memories, from anything, just by using your breath to do it. Ta-da!
That's pretty cool. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Really valuable.
Yeah.
It's a tool. that we can use, and it's probably one of the most powerful tools.
Yeah, I think
because
so.
it's our breath, it's our
Yeah.
life, it's our essence, it's our spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the most important thing for survival, so it's probably the most important thing for our
Healing. Our
spirit.
thrival.
Our thrival. Yes, that's a word. It's a word.
It should
I'm
be.
almost positive.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thrive.
it might be in like a fringe dictionary,
Yeah.
but it's a word.
Yeah.
It's valid.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, so like taking that breath work and
Mm-hmm.
understanding the concept of breath work. So for those of you, I feel like most people watching here probably know what breath work is, but maybe you could give a quick overview on like your definition of breath work and how you work with it and like why it's so valuable and how people can apply it in their lives.
Okay. Well, there are tons of different styles of breath work. Anytime you're paying attention to your breath, even meditation is breath work, you know, because you're thinking, okay, I'm breathing, maybe if you're thinking, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. Just being conscious of your breath at all for any period of time, that is breath work. And then there are different styles where the emphasis may be on different things. Maybe you bring in a lot of prana, a lot of oxygen, a lot of life force, and then you hold it and then you control and let it go. They all have a different purpose.
Right.
The particular style that I am trained in and that I love is transformational breathing. And so that style is a circular pattern. And that's what creates the high energy circuit, you know, the high energy frequency that starts moving the stuck low energy stuff. The stagnancy, yeah, exactly. So what could I say about that? I would just invite you to try. What I like to tell people is to try just a little, for a few minutes, just to see. Maybe, do you want to show them?
Yeah, sure.
Just show them a little.
Does everyone want to see? Leave a like, leave a love, leave a comment. I think yes. Let's do it anyway.
Yes.
We're going to show you anyway.
Yeah.
We're shoving breathwork down your throat like a religious, dogmatic preacher.
Yeah. Well, first of all,
We're
just
kidding.
notice how you breathe, right?
Yeah.
And see if
Being
this.
aware, mindful.
Yeah, and see if this resonates with you at all. Like, are you holding your breath anytime? Do you run around throughout your whole day long, and then at the end of the day, you're like.
Sit down in my lazy boy chair in the corner and just kick back and finally breathe.
Yeah, and that's like the first time you do that all day long, right?
I think,
so there's something to it. So just maybe noticing if you could a couple times a day take 5 deep breaths and see how it feels. Slow, count 5 in, count 5 out, something like that. And notice, do that maybe for 2 minutes and notice how you feel. Just to see, just to start awakening your awareness to that, right? So with transformational breathing though, if you haven't done a full, usually we do like a full hour-long session so we can get in there and really start moving some old emotional charge.
So it's like a real, I mean, it's not a couple minutes, you're really. Yeah. It's a workout.
It's a workout. It's a
breath
diaphragmatic workout.
Diaphragmatic workout.
It's true.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's good. That's cool. So it's really powerful because people, I would imagine, get more out of it because they're really engaging fully.
Yeah. And because the more you're breathing in that circuitous way, the higher your vibration is going, right? So the stronger the pull of lower vibrational stuff.
Yeah.
So the more you can clean out, right?
I believe this 100% because I've literally seen reviews of Nicole's breathwork workshops online. I haven't told you this, but like people have commented and said like, you know, this has transformed my life so much. Like it's amazing how quickly, you know, things can shift and change just through breathwork.
Yeah.
So it's really powerful and a lot of people have benefited from this.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that in there.
And most people think that, I mean, I was that one. The first transformational breath retreat that I went to, my mom sent me because I had gone through a breakup that also left me pretty like, you know,
Shattered.
pretty shattered for like a long time, and longer than I felt was necessary
Right.
or appropriate, you know. So I went to this thing, and I was sort of like, somebody said like, how long have you been breathing? And I was like, really?
Wait, how long have you been?
Like they were saying, and like, how long have you been breathing, like doing this work? And I was like, oh, this is so cheesy. Like, really, what's this really even gonna do? You know, I've been breathing my whole life. Like, this really isn't gonna work. You know? How long have I been breathing? Really, my whole life. So I'm not surprised. Most people are like, what is this gonna do?
Right.
It's amazing what it does.
Yeah.
And not to mention just having like the support of somebody there, like you said, it's like, okay, I see you. Take a minute. Like, let's just breathe. Like, it's normal to have emotion. It's normal to let this stuff come up and be with it and feel sad and be pissed and, you know, we have such a, I don't know, I think we have a society of, I don't know how we got this, that we just feel like it's not okay for us to express emotion.
That could be an hour-long conversation in and of itself. Literally, that could be a long conversation. But yeah, I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Is that true? That's
Oh,
true,
yeah.
right?
Oh, totally.
However, this belief came that it's not okay for us to really feel what we're feeling.
Yeah.
And
But it's just simply not true.
yeah, it's not true.
Very incorrect.
Yeah.
With human physiology, with emotion, just with flow, with
Yeah.
life.
Yep.
So I agree 100%.
I looked at, somebody asked me the other day, like, she was like, what is, she was interviewing me, and she was like, what is emotion? And I was like,
That's a loaded question.
yeah. Like, I don't know.
Let me check my watch.
What a great question, right?
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
a journalist, you know?
Yeah.
So, this was before our interview, so I had
Yeah.
a moment, so I went to look it up, you know, what is
Yeah.
emotion?
Yeah.
And,
The official definition.
yeah, exactly. And one of them that I read and loved was that emotion is something that happens, it's a reaction to our environment
Yeah.
that we put together all of these millions of pieces of sensory information, and then that's what results. And
But that's the emotion.
yeah,
The output of that.
yeah, and
Right.
the emotion is meant to give us information,
Right.
you know, on every
Like
level.
emotional intelligence.
Yes,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
on a physical, mental, physical, mental, spiritual level, like on all levels of our beings,
Yeah.
these emotions come up to kind of connect the worlds and do all this stuff, but
Right.
we're like, wait, I get that information, but I don't like it, or something,
Right.
you know, so just like,
So we just want to process the information, which is a lot of the neck up, head,
yes,
space,
yes,
and not feel it in our body, in our
Yeah.
heart, in our gut.
yeah,
So that's like another, I think, depth of emotion is like, sometimes you need to feel things in your heart, sometimes you need to feel things in your gut.
yeah, and depending what they are, you should feel them in different places,
Yeah.
you know, that's how it works,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That's a whole, and like, I don't know what word I was gonna say there, but,
A word.
the
A
chakra
word.
energy centers, I think,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chakras and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
It all comes into play there, but,
yeah.
what's my point?
What were we talking about, Facebook? Can you give us some feedback and remind us? Energy
But
and
then, it's
emotion,
that
the
the,
definition of emotion.
that the emotion comes up and we get the information and then but we don't want to fully
Suppress the
feel
emotion,
it.
right.
Because I think a lot of us think if we fully feel it, first of all, it's going to be too much,
Right.
or that we're going to get
Totally.
stuck there.
Mm.
That like, if I really feel sad,
Yeah.
then I'm going to be sad forever.
I'm gonna be depressed forever.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that, so I'm just going
I'm gonna push it away. I'm gonna resist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna resist. Oh,
Yes.
resisting emotions is
Yeah.
a dangerous game.
It's dangerous
Oh.
and challenging.
Playing with
and
Russian
painful.
roulette.
And,
with,
tiring, you know?
Yeah. Oh, very tiring.
Yeah.
Trust
So
me,
the
I know.
irony is, though, that the more you, like, really just, like, feel the thing,
Yeah.
allow yourself to cry in front of a bunch of people, because you
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
In that moment, there's no
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
But really, like, allow yourself to feel.
There literally was no choice. And just to be clear, when she says there was no choice, there was no choice. I was at the end of my emotional rope. And I think when we get to that space, there's a big learning lesson there.
Yeah.
But you don't have to get to that end of the rope.
Right.
And I that's a lesson I'm learning, and I think everyone kind of learns. You don't have to get to the end of your emotional rope. Allow yourself to feel and let these things flow through you so that you can live in more harmony as life continues, and you can be in that flow, and it doesn't build up inside of you and create constriction and,
Yeah.
and stagnancy and all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
just wanted to add that.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, let the thing flow, because that's what really happens. If you really let it, like, feel it, it actually flows quicker, you know. And you're like, I don't
It's
want
like a river.
I don't want to be in that place forever.
River. Oh, my face. You know, it happens.
Yeah. And I don't want to be in that place forever. But so I was going to say, the irony is that when you try not to feel it, you're actually still carrying it around for
Yeah.
longer.
And you may even be strengthening it.
Yes. Then if you would, 'cause you just like
Possibly.
add to it, shove it
Yeah.
down, add to it, shove
Yeah.
it down. Just like, so you carry it around longer than if you would just feel the thing in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so anyway, breath work. Yeah.
Breath work.
So a practice for you to try is for you to sit. I'll talk and you just sit and show. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
sure.
So maybe put one hand. I think we can see you.
On my
Yeah.
directly.
Even lower,
Oh,
like
lower.
one hand below your belly button
Mm-hmm.
and one hand on your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And
like
then
this maybe.
yeah,
That's friendlier.
that's
My
good.
heart's more on this side, according to science.
Yeah. And so maybe close your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try not to make him cry again.
This will be my public debut of hashtag cry more. Start tweeting this.
Wouldn't that be rude?
What?
Me?
It's all good.
Like, I'm gonna
It's all good.
do my ninja
Let's
tricks.
get vulnerable, Facebook. Let's get vulnerable. Okay.
No,
so,
I won't.
Yeah.
But so
I mean, hey,
this
that's
is
that.
the encouragement for all.
It's
Okay,
part of
so
the
to
journey.
see, the goal is for all areas of your respiratory system to be open and moving. So just try to, I want you to breathe in and out your mouth just for this,
Okay.
because it brings
So I
in
usually
more
breathe through my
oxygen.
nose, but okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's good. So in and out your mouth. Good. So you can see, let me see if you can see on there. Yeah, you can see your chest is moving. Yeah. Good. The goal is for you to breathe way low into your belly too. Use your diaphragm. And then it kind of fills up all the way into your chest. Yeah. And then let it go. Yeah. With the emphasis on your inhale. And then just let it fall out. Yeah, good. Let it fall out like a quick little sigh. Yeah, like that. And then you can go even faster. So it's just this little flowing kind of circuit. Yeah. Let it go. Nice. Focusing on bringing the good prana, the good life force in, and then your exhale is just you letting go of anything else. Kind of letting go of toxins, taking out the trash. You don't want to hold on to the trash as you're taking it out, you just let it go. Yeah. That's good. That's enough. How do you feel?
I feel really hot. Like a ton of heat in my body. Like everywhere.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Yeah.
Like a ridiculous amount of heat. Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like it's like there's air on in here. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's Costa Rica, but we have air conditioning, and I feel a lot of heat.
Lucky.
So
Yeah.
is that normal? It's normal.
Yeah, I would say. So the
Wow.
ultimate, he did great. So what you want to do is maybe look in the mirror at first and see, but you want to breathe with a relaxed mouth. This is the transformational breathing technique. I'm just showing to show as an example. To do like 100 of those breaths.
Oh my god.
Well, you could go faster than that.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
he would just
I mean, it was intense. As crazy as it sounds, that was intense.
Yeah.
I've
So-
done breathwork. Like I've
Yeah.
done fire breathing and yoga. Like I've done different forms of breathwork.
Yeah.
That I felt heat.
Yeah, because which is cool because he's a sensitive dude, very clean and
It's
healthy.
a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a sensitive dude.
He is,
Continue.
but sensitive in like a very healthy way, like
Yeah.
your cells are sensitive, and so as you start breathing, you respond immediately. So if you start getting really hot or really cold,
Feel my arms too, yeah.
or
That's
all of a
just-
sudden like I don't like this, I'm nervous,
Yeah.
you're like all you're doing is breathing. So that's just some sort of, usually it's already the energy starting to shift.
Right.
So just stick with it.
Wow. That was cool. I didn't know I was going to get that treat. I hope some of you are doing this at home, but if not, try it later.
Yeah.
Exercise, experience, express in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the goal is to have your belly moving, your chest moving, to
Both.
focus on
Yeah.
the inhale, and then just let the exhale be really soft. So it sounds like. So try 100 of those. Only takes like 5 minutes or so. If you want to go slower, go slower. See how it feels. Just experiment a bit and see how your body responds. See how your mind responds. Worst case scenario, you bring in more oxygen than you probably were going to anyway.
You
So,
get a little high on the oxygen.
Yeah.
No big
Yeah.
deal.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
that's it.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty incredible, I gotta say. Like, what I felt from that. Like I said, I've done a lot of breath work. For those of you watching, I don't know, has anyone heard of Wim Hof, the Iceman? Have you heard of the Iceman?
Yeah.
Wim Hof? He has a breathwork technique, and I didn't really feel it was a different. Each breathwork experience is different.
Yeah.
And let me ask you a quick question. So I was breathing, and my chest was expanding, and also my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Typically in breathwork, they teach to expand the stomach only, right? Kind of, or
It
no?
Excuse me, it depends.
Okay, that was my understanding. I'm probably highly incorrect.
No,
But-
you're not. Most teach
No, it could be. It's
diaphragmatic
totally
breathing.
fine. My ego is not involved here, so it's okay. It's totally fine. Just to be clear. You can humiliate my breathwork knowledge. I'll be like, cool, great, I'm learning something new publicly.
Yeah. Most of them, yes, teach you to breathe in the belly.
More into the
Yeah.
deeper into the
Yeah.
stomach. Into the belly, yeah.
This particular style, because there's a whole science around it too, that like as you go through life and you have these emotions come up that you don't feel safe to feel or you don't want to or whatever, certain areas of your respiratory system usually shut down. So if you think about a way a baby, they don't shut down like die. But
Well,
they
yeah,
just,
but
they aren't flowing. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
like your circulation, it can be like in your leg, or
Yeah.
like it's literally, you're saying shrinking its capacity.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with VO2 max by any chance?
Yes.
Yeah, so let me just explain what VO2 max is real quick. So VO2 max, for those of you watching, VO2 max is the oxygen capacity that your lungs can contain. And it's measured, so like if you have higher VO2 max, you can take in more oxygen, which gives more oxygen to your muscles and your cells. And a lot of triathletes and long distance runners and these types of people train for higher VO2 max. So I would imagine this would affect that to some degree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Cool.
I like to think of it too. Just think of like tight muscles, right? Everybody's had some of
Oh.
those sometime in their life, like usually tight shoulders, okay?
Yeah, and neck.
So your whole body is full of these little micro muscles as well. So especially around the respiratory system. So when not especially, but in respect to this work. So when I say some part of your respiratory system shuts down, it's like that area just, you just don't, it doesn't get accentuated, it doesn't get infused with energy, or it may physically be like these tight little muscles that are holding energy in place so that it doesn't move, so you don't feel that thing. So that's why this breath work, to breathe into the low belly, but also then expand it up into the chest, just to see what that is.
All of it. Yeah.
So he is naturally really good at breathing here in the chest.
Is that a good thing?
Well, it's a thing, yeah. So it makes sense because he's a very loving and kind, like I said, a sensitive dude.
Mi corazón es muy grateful.
Mm-hmm.
My Spanglish.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I speak to.
Yeah.
So typically people who breathe up in their chest a lot feel a lot, you know, but maybe sometimes you feel like you might get taken advantage of a lot, or sometimes the feelings are too much, or I don't know how to make my dreams and my goals a reality. And so there's a whole science to like what breathing in each part means, or maybe, you know, could breathing more in the other can balance things out. Because if you look at like a little baby, like a baby breathes just like the chest is moving.
Oh,
it's
great
all
example. Yeah. When you see a
Like
baby
when
breathe,
it's
it's like a
sleeping,
little balloon. It's just
you see
incredible.
their
You're like,
little,
whoa.
everything's just flowing like that. Like that's how we naturally should breathe.
Yeah.
Not like walking around all day, but we should be able to.
Yeah.
And so.
Shout out to the breathing babies out there. Keep doing your thing. I see you.
Yeah, we love you. Thank you.
We love you, babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of wisdom in children. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
But yeah, we
we'll
won't go on a tangent.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
But anyway, try it. Look in the mirror. See what's going on, because expanding and breathing into an area where maybe you don't see a lot of movement on your own self can really start to clear stuff powerfully, like old beliefs, and to create a whole new relationship with life that didn't even know was possible. Sounds like a lot, but I see it a lot. So
Yeah.
speaking the truth.
Yeah, no, you do see a lot. Rhythmia is a well, like you said, a life advancement center, but it has to do with like spirituality, health, harmony.
Yeah. Reconnecting with your soul.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So she sees this all firsthand. She's in the trenches. So that's why it's so valuable, because you work in this space with this direct technology for the human physiology. And that's really cool and that's really powerful. And another thing too, just interesting to kind of touch on that point, the lymphatic system, it has to do with oxygen and water. And I think it's Greek, I want to say. It literally means like oxygen and water.
Wow.
So when you breathe into the lymphatic system, actually this is a really cool fact. Laughter opens the thoracic duct in the body, which is a duct, and your lymphatic toxins detoxify fastest when you laugh.
I love it.
Yeah.
I've already laughed like 5 times.
Yeah. I don't know if you've laughed at home,
so
but I hope
clean.
so. Yeah. So we're just detoxifying ourselves over here. Yeah, so laughter is like sort of an advanced form of breath work for the lymphatic system, for detoxifying the lymphatic system. So that's really powerful, and I think like what you said, kind of breathing deeper and into different areas of the body that you may not have breathed in.
Can detoxify the lymph.
Can detoxify the lymph in that area as well, which gets rid of that stagnancy, that toxicity, and then it loosens up the body, the micro muscles, like you said, so that you can have life and flexibility and mobility and just kind of be free in your body again.
Yeah.
Be free in your body to feel and to move and to be actively engaged with life, so that your outtake and intake is more real and authentic. Because when you start to shut down and constrict these things, thank you. Oh, this is great. When you start to shut down and constrict these things, you're closing your relationship off with yourself and with the world, because the world is just a mirrored reflection of yourself. So by opening that up, you're giving yourself more energy, more life, more opportunity, more potential, and more growth, because that's what you're shifting into.
Yeah.
You're shifting into a higher gear. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't know, is there anything else you want to add to the breathwork conversation, or any resources maybe, or just anything that, I don't know, anything that would add value?
I'll always say because this is my training is transformational breathing. So if you have any questions about that, check out that website, and of course come to Rhythmia. Come see me. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll have like a YouTube channel or Facebook page or something where you can follow her. So when when she gets that information, I will post that below this video as a comment, so you can follow her and her work and learn more as she immerses herself in the breathwork realm. Yeah. So
that's it.
I think that sums it up. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe
Thank
let me
you,
just
everybody.
read real quick. Proud of you. I would like to. Oh, okay. You want me to meet your daughter? I don't know if you're talking to me or Nicole. Good discussion. Thank you, though. Sure, why not? Good discussion. Thank you. I appreciate the comments. I don't know if there's more, but anyways, thank you everyone for watching here on YouTube and Facebook, wherever you're watching from. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, your dedication to your health, your wellness, and your breath. The very essence of life itself. So if you're just now joining us, I know some of you have joined halfway through at the end. Go back and watch this entire discussion, please. It could very well change your life, add value to your life, help release some negative toxicity, drama, whatever it may be that you need to let go of, and help you operate at a higher energetic level and energetic frequency. Thank you so much. We love you. We appreciate you. And hugs from Costa Rica. Pura vida.
Pura vida.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Bye. Ciao.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
See you next time.